Good morning, y'all. Happy to be here with you. I wanted to shoot this video because I want to talk about why it's important to budget. And I know that's one of the resistance that a lot of people have towards saving and planning for retirement is the fact they just don't have a budget plan. So this video, get your pen and paper. I'm going to break down a budgeting strategy that I use. And I teach certain clients that ask me, when they ask me what do I use, this is what I use. And I got this plan from T. Harv Eker. He wrote the book, The Secret of the Millionaire Mind. He's a guy that, self-made guy, built a bunch of businesses and things like that. And one of the things that he talked about is just like having a money mindset. That's one of the topics of his book. And dominating money and not letting money dominate you. And that's a really important thing because even when I'm talking to clients, and one of the biggest things that I run into when I'm dealing with people is the fact that people just have bad habits around money and their energy around money is off. So if that's you, this video is going to be really, really important for you because like I said, it's one thing to save money, but it's a whole other thing to have money work for you and making sure that you are dominating money and not the other way around. So this JARS saving system is a really simple saving system, and it's fun too, actually, that you can use to make sure that you are dominating your money is not dominating you. So again, get a piece of paper out, write this down, right? So in the JARS account, there's 6 jars, right? And jars are a metaphor, but you could do it as far as accounts, right? And so there's 6 accounts that you need to open up. The first account is your necessity account, right? And so what that is 50% of your money should go into this necessity account, right? And this necessity account is all your bills. Your mortgage is paid out of there. Your rent, if you're renting, is paid out of there. Your school tuition is paid out of that account. Your car note, all your bills are paid out of the necessity account. And that is just 50% of your income. So as soon as you get paid, what you want to do is you want to put 50% of your money into this necessity account, right? So that's what I do. I put 50% there. And a lot of people might say, well, Mr. Smith, I can't live off of 50% of my bills. That's fine. When you're just starting out, your bills may be above the 50%. But that lets you know that you're spending more money than you should, right? So you need to figure out a way to cut back on your bills. And that's something you can do over time. But just to start out, even if the 50% is too much, you just want to start with a certain percent that you can dedicate, all right? But the goal is to get it to 50%, right? So 50% is the necessity account. The next account is your financial freedom account, right? And the financial freedom account is 10% of your money that you put away for savings into the future. And if you're a federal government employee, this could be your 10% towards your TSP. So you want to put 10% into a financial freedom account that you do not touch. This money is retirement money, 401k money, TSP money, stock money, whatever. That money you just do not touch, and it stays in that account. 10% goes there. So again, to recap, we got 50% in the necessity account, that's bills, 10% in the financial freedom account. The next account is long-term savings account, right? Now, 10% there is this. 10% here, that's for emergency. That's for family vacations that you want to take. That may be a year or two out. You want to put 10% into that account so that when you need that money, you have access to it. That's for, like I said, emergencies. That could be mainly emergencies and vacations, things like that, or long-term projects. Like if you want to save for a house that you want to buy the next couple of years, all of that will go into that long-term savings account, right? So again, to recap again, we got the necessity account, we got the financial freedom account, and then we got the long-term savings account. The next account we got is the best account, the funnest account. I said funnest. The account that you're going to have the most fun with, right? And that's called your play account. This is really important energetically. And the reason why this is important energetically is because the play account is the money that you use to blow and spend on yourself, right? And so a lot of times, at least for me, I know when I would spend money, I would still spend money out of guilt and not really knowing whether it was budgeted for different things, or allocated for different things. And so I would carry a lot of guilt until I started understanding this play account where I put 10% of money aside that I can use to do whatever I want. If I want to waste it on drinks, fine. If I want to waste it on clothes, fine. If I want to, whatever it is, I can spend money on and I can feel good about it because that money is allocated for me to do that. And that's 10% of my money, because at the end of the day, you work because you want to live a fun life, not because you just work to pay bills. And so a lot of people work to pay bills, but then they feel guilty when they give a little bit to themselves. And that guilt leads them to spending or overspending more and more and more, because emotionally they're out of whack, right? So you definitely want to be able to have that play account and have fun and enjoy that play account. The next account, we'll go back and recap again. We got the necessity account. We got the long-term savings account. No, I'm sorry. We got the necessity account. We got the financial freedom account. We got the long-term savings account. We got the play account. And now we got to get the educational account, right? So the educational account is another 10%. And this 10% is really, really important, because, and the most underestimated one. And the one, to be honest, when I first started understanding JARS, was the one that had me the most confused. Because this 10% savings, 10% savings towards education, the reason why this is so important, and T.R. Vecker expressed this a lot, is because this education account helps you increase your value in the world, right? And so for me, I know I spent 10% for business coaching, right? I spent 10% on business coaching. I think I spent $10,000, and I'm not saying that just to make these numbers easy for you, because I literally spent $10,000 for a course that over the next year and a half netted me over $170,000, just based on spending money on that education to enhance the way in which I do business. And so education, for some other people, it might be other things. It might be, I run across so many federal government employees that, and the reason why I mention them is because that's our main market, that are wanting to do things, but they just don't have the money, or they don't have the foresight to think, all right, if I pay, $5,000-$6,000 towards this training, what impact will it make? Well, now with a 10% education account, the education account is there for you to spend money to level up. Because a couple of things happen when you spend money to level up on yourself. One, you'll be at conferences where there's other people spending money to level up, and so your chances of building a network increases. Then the next thing is you mentally level up. Like, you literally have a new skill set that other people have not disciplined themselves enough to pay for it. And so you consistently want to be putting money into your education is really, really important, especially if you want to change your life, right? That's the quickest way to change your life, is through education. The last 10% is tithe. Tithe is the next. You want to be able to tithe because you have to tithe. Tithing is just it's an extremely important thing to do. The Bible says you need to do it, and then it's just good for the spirit to be able to have money that you give back. Whether it's to church, some people go to church, some people don't. Some people want to donate to charity. That's a good thing. Some people want to donate to their family members. That's another thing. But regardless, it's just, or even having money when somebody asks, it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, I could let you borrow that because I got 10% of my charity account. You ain't got to tell them it's coming from the charity account, but in the tithe account, but that's what that money is allocated for. So let me go back over. We got 50% in the necessity account. We got 10% in the financial freedom account. We got 10% in the long-term savings account. We got 10% in the savings account. And we got, in the education account, and we got 10% in the tithe account. 10% in the play account and 10%. I thought my math was off for a second. That's why I let it stumble a little bit. So again, 50% necessity, 10% long-term savings, 10% financial freedom, 10% play account, 10% education account, and 10% tithe account. So again, manage your money. Don't let your money manage you. That's the way you can free yourself from from financial turmoil in general. Just discipline yourself around your money. It's a fun journey. That 10% play account is the account that makes all this work, because it feels good to spend your money on yourself. So peace and blessings, y'all. Talk to y'all soon.